Hello, my name is Ursula Holden Gill. I'm a professional storyteller, story writer, performer and educator based in Hebden Bridge, West Yorkshire, England, home of the Shaggy Dog Storytellers. I'd like to share a story with you now called The Princess and the Pigeon, which is a contemporary Italian folk tale. I hope you enjoy it. For more information about me, please visit ursulaholdengill.com. The princess sat by the open window of her apartment, which stood at the edge of town. She was dreaming of love and holidays and the like, and wishing she really was a princess, so that she might afford not to have to go to work the following week, when she was interrupted by a tapping, ever such a slight tap, tap, tapping at the door. As the princess went to investigate, a pigeon flew through the open window of her apartment, snatched up the princess's door key, which was set out next to a generous loaf of bread she'd just laid for lunch, and made off with the key in its beak as the princess returned, scratching her head. She didn't react anywhere near fast enough to catch the bird, and so she stood, took a deep breath, determined that the incident shouldn't disturb her serenity any longer than necessary. The princess wandered into the adjacent room to fetch her purse. It was a sunny day, a Saturday. She would walk into the town and get another key cut at the ironmonger's. Her neighbour had a spare. But no sooner had the princess opened the drawer where her purse was, back through the open window of the apartment flew the pigeon, and it pilfered the purse before the princess could react. Her peace was well and truly shattered. Right! That does it! She fumed, snatching up a chunk of the bread and marching outside with the intention of luring the bird into returning the stolen goods. The pigeon sat just on the gate post. There was no sign of the door key, though it still clutched the princess's purse in its beak as if it were a salmon. The princess tore a morsel of the bread and flicked it at the bird with an insincere. To her astonishment, the bird swooped down. It snatched the bread, it seized the purse, and it flew on. Before the princess could react, she repeated the process. The same thing happened. Seize the bread, snatch the purse, and fly on. And in this way, somehow the bird lured the princess instead of the princess luring the bird far away from a pretty little apartment, far away from the bustling town, and to the threshold of the forest. On went the game as the sun journeyed and began its descent. Snatch the bread, seize the purse, fly on. Snatch the bread, seize the purse, fly on and on until the sun was low. The princess found herself deep in the forest, lost. It was going dark. The bird flew to a clearing, where beyond there was some sort of a hut, a roundhouse. The chimney was smoking, it was occupied. The bird, the pigeon, perched on a sill and stared at the princess. She became aware of another presence round about. It perturbed her. But as she turned her head to look and to glance in either direction, the bird swooped through a gap in the glass and was gone, leaving the princess cursing the creature. The fact that it was fast going dark, she was clearly lost, and what would she do? twig snapped. Something flashed, a speck of colour through the trees. The princess turned to run, but as she did so, footsteps from inside the hut drawing nearer, the door opened and suddenly in front of the princess was the most handsome figure she had ever chanced set eyes on, who instantly transformed her fears into weak and feeble gibbering. Calmly and rather seductively, the gentleman queried why the princess was so deep in the forest, alone, at dark. I'm chasing a pigeon, actually. Yours, I think. I mean, it's just flown in here. It seemed to know where it was going. A pigeon? Yeah, it stole my door key and my purse this morning, and so I was trying to lure it with these crumbs of bread, but it hasn't really gone to plan. Pigeon, you know, thing. A pigeon. The fellow smiled and began to look the princess up and down. Yes, as I said, pigeon. Seriously, a pigeon. But she was softening. She was laughing. The gentleman saw this and edged forward. This is, it's going to sound a little strange, but, okay, I'm the pigeon. Yeah, I know, I said it's a little strange, but, you know how these things go. I mean, the forests, they're notorious for enchantments and fairy tales and the like, and well, as the legend has it, a witch woman, she once put a spell on me, and well, who knows why witches do spells. That's a mystery, isn't it? But the spell was, anyway, by day I'm a pigeon, and by night I'm, well, as you see now. And so I'll remain until true love frees me, and, well, I came past your little apartment, and I just thought that, well, we'll just see how it goes, and if it all goes well, we live, well, what do you call it? Happy ever after. Well, the princess was astounded, but she was quite smitten. And it was dark, and she was lost, and she was aware of creepy things all about her, and she hadn't eaten that day. I mean, she'd wasted her bread, and so instead of saying, look, why don't you escort me safely back to town, return my stolen goods, come and visit me. I can put you some scraps out on the windowsill if you like. In fact, if you come in an evening, you could take me out to a top-notch restaurant every Saturday between now and April Fool's Day, and I'll think about it. Instead, she found herself coyly twiddling her hair and giggling, you know how these things go. And say, well, I don't know, we could see how it goes. And she stepped into the hut, and everything was fantastic for a month or two. But gradually, you see, the novelty of chopping, having sourced them first, vast amounts of wood with an axe that she could barely lift to make firewood, washing her clothes and his by a freezing cold stream that ran by the side of the hut, doing copious amounts of DIY on the windows, on the bits of thatched roof, distinguishing edible fruits from poisonous berries, while the pigeon flew off to goodness knows where in the morning. The novelty soon wore off. Within a month, the princess was sorely regretting having ever trusted the Pigeon with a resignation letter for work. Within 2 months, she was missing work itself. Her pretty little apartment, her friends, her colleagues back in the town. Within 3 months, she was depressed. She was anxious. Within 4 months, her hands were red raw from all the labour. Within 5 months, she'd begun to lose her hair. Within 6 months, she could barely stay awake at night to listen to her lover come swooping through the hole in the window. Months, weeks, days blurred into one, and the princess continued to deteriorate. Still, she held on to the vain notion that if she could only adapt to this new way of life, well, she might truly win her lover's heart, and he would grant her dearest wish. The princess was contemplating this pipe dream one evening when she awoke, wiping the usual clod of sleep from her eye, to see him in front of her, in his fellow's form, bent on one knee and rustling in a bag. Quickly, she smoothed herself out and went over to him. I didn't expect it to happen like this, and I know I've a long way to go before I prove worthy of being a country wife, but you know how utterly devoted I am to you, and, well, I just want to say, I will. Now that you're free, we've done it. I do. The fellow smiled. He rose to his feet, walked over to the princess, and gently stroked her face with the palm of his hand. Your love broke the spell, love. I don't love you. I don't want a wife. No. I'm off back down to town. I've got your purse. I've got your door key. I've got myself a house. I'm off. But hey, you've made it homely here. You can hold your own. Yeah. Well, I guess that's it. Ciao. The princess watched him leave. She didn't cry out. She didn't protest. She was numb. She simply stood listening as his footsteps echoed down the winding forest path back to town for what seemed like an eternity. A knock on the door eventually brought the princess back to her senses, but only because no other being in the forest had ever made themselves known to her. Still in a trance, she ventured over and turned the handle. Before her was a wizened, tall woman, hair tawny, tumbling down way past her waist, eyes bluer than robin's eggs, her gaze penetrating. It held the princess, and for a moment the two women simply drank each other in. spoke first. I'm Pigeon's owner, for want of a better word, however you want to put it. Which, I suppose he told you. Well, that's me. I put the spell on him, that's true, not a word of a lie. But I did it so that nobody had fall for him anymore, so folk could see him as he really is, conniving, self-serving, utterly, truly selfish. But I don't know. Well, I suppose it's true what they say, isn't it? True love really is blind. Any road. Well, lucky for you, I've kind of stuck around. I mean, I would have come sooner, but I doubt you'd have heard me out. If you don't mind me saying, love, you look awful. Let us in, Let us help you. I feel part responsible, me on Pigeon and all. The princess must have stood aside absent-mindedly, because without further ado, the cunning woman, for that is who the stranger was, stepped into the hut and instantly set about slicing and sieving, brewing and baking beeswax, geranium, sandalwood, all manner of herbs and tinctures which she used to restore the princess to health. And in time, though it took a long time for the princess to recover, well, then the cunning woman taught her the ways of the forest, to love and understand the green, to respect all that thrived there, to be governed only by the sun and the moon, to read the stars, to celebrate friendship, solitude, freedom. 7 years passed in this way, until one morning, early in the autumn, the teacher beckoned her apprentice over. So, I'm going to take you back into town. I found him, Pigeon. Spending like there's no tomorrow. Don't look so terrified. I'll not recognise you looking as you do. And I didn't get up, I'll fit you up in. Believe you me, he'll greet you as a lover, and within a week or so, no more, he'll throw an elaborate party at which he will propose. When he does this, if you want to reclaim your life back, you can simply expose him. Well, the princess was somewhat perturbed about confronting her former lover again, let alone trying to pass him off publicly as an enchanted pigeon. But she trusted her teacher. And so she followed everything that the elder had instructed her to do. And within a week, things had panned out pretty much as she'd been told they would. She was stood in the centre of a lavish party in a restaurant, the middle of town. All around her, glasses clanking, knives scraping, laughs faking. The fellow ogling at her finery, introducing her to all and sundry, and preparing to propose. Princess's moment had come. The first star had glimmered in the sky. She took it as a sign and was just about to clear her throat and tap the side of her glass with a spoon to make her announcement, when through the open window the leaves rustled in some nearby birch trees, bringing the sound of the forest to her on the wind. If the rush of bird song marks your morning call, if the standing circles hold you in enthrall, if the morning breezes summon you from far, well then, my bonny sweetheart, remember what you are. And if the scented forest stir your will to learn, if your intuition informs you every turn, if the thought of freedom sounds your soul's hurrah, well then, my bunny sweetheart, remember what you are. What am I doing? The princess said to herself. This isn't me anymore. My belongings, my possessions, they're not the sum total of my wealth. He can keep it. He can have the lot. And with that, she stole away from the deafening restaurant in the centre of town. She settled the bill at the guest house the cunning woman had booked for her 10 days or so before. She waved goodbye to her pretty apartment that stood at the edge of town. The pretty apartment that had long ago fostered her dreams. But then she turned back to the forest to make those dreams a reality. She smiled as she entered the green wood. She breathed